Here we are at the end of the year 2024, and a lot has changed since I first started this channel. None more so than the fact that I started to take this whole YouTube thing more seriously than I did when I first created it a year ago. Mostly due to economic reasons, which I'm sure a lot of you can understand. Don't get me wrong, I've come to... Okay, I don't enjoy editing the bigger videos, but I do enjoy the finished product after editing those videos together. Speaking of, I did not realize how long it would take to edit a video like my Prove It episodes together when I started the Vanny episode. Having finished 4 episodes, I now have a good sense of the timeline involved in the production. It takes about 3 weeks to go from revising the initial post into a script to editing, checking, and publishing the final video. As a result, I can typically manage to release one big video each month, as long as nothing else demands my full attention during that time. Of course, that's taking into account life, the daily distractions, lazy moments, breaks, and the fact that I'm also covering my deep dive into Help Wanted 2 in between videos on Reddit. Thankfully, next year, one of those things will no longer be taking time away from editing soon. That's right, I'm almost done with my analysis of Help Wanted 2. I'm about 70% done with it, which means once that's finished, I can focus completely on finishing the Ruin Prove It series, get back into pumping out the rest of the Jonesy Burrows series, and start the Ruin Mysteries, named Pending, miniseries. Once all of that is done, I can finally start covering the Help Wanted 2 Prove It series on YouTube, which I'm personally the most excited about in regards to future projects for this channel. Hopefully, I'll at least be halfway into that series before the Secret of the Mimic releases, as there are some things I found in Help Wanted 2 that I know that game will spoil before I reveal to you all what they are. On the topic of projects for the channel, you all wouldn't know this, but I did have other videos planned to be published alongside the Prove It videos, which, one way or another, couldn't happen. Those were Palworld and Sonic X Shadow Generations. Palworld was a simple playthrough and would have had the most videos on my channel and would have come out before any of my FNAF series. Unfortunately, that couldn't be made into videos due to OBS recording issues and lack of time to edit because of my FNAF stuff. In fact, I haven't even completed it yet, or played it since about late January. I haven't even fought a boss. Hopefully, one day I'll get to play it again, as I honestly enjoy what I played of it. Sonic X Shadow Generations, on the other hand, would have been a full game walkthrough, which was supposed to come out as a filler between the Security Match episode and the Mixes episode, something I was inspired to do by the game Archivist and 99VR, whose channels I frequent often for the FNAF walkthroughs. Once again, OBS issues, but this time even worse, as I didn't check to see if it was recording game audio until after I finished the game. And worse than that, it somehow recorded a black screen until the second half of the shadow side of the game. Needless to say, I was very unhappy after happily beating the game and realizing most of my recording was useless to me. But lessons were learned, and hopefully next year, any games I intend to play and upload to the channel will be free of any OBS problems. Now, before I begin answering the questions you have for me, I would like to take a moment and shout out a fellow YouTuber who had helped me recently, and someone I thought I returned the favor to. So check out Trey Hignight's channel if you're interested in murder drone discussions and AMVs, along with some playthroughs of other games. There might even be a FNAF video appearing on the channel in the near future. Now, onto the questions, which come from 2 commenters on the announcement video. First up, because it's the most liked comment, is from Ibexus. The origin of my avatar character and channel mascot. Not a bad question. Well, originally, my avatar on Reddit was a picture of Bonbon, who coincidentally matched the username I had randomly made on Reddit for reasons completely unrelated to FNAF. Reasons that I've forgotten about, actually. Anyway, as I eventually decided to become a YouTuber, I wasn't exactly sure if it would have been okay to keep Bonbon as my representative for the channel. So to prevent future problems with the use of Bonbon, I decided to make my own original character based on Bonbon through the use of Stable Diffusion, using prompts I got from the image to get a general idea and framework to work off of. 4 months later, with hundreds of AI images, the use of online image editors, and my own skills in Microsoft Paint and Photoshop, Bon Jonesy version 1 came to exist. I'm sure you all noticed the stark difference between Bonbon and Bon Jonesy. That's called legally distinct. Now, despite setting out to make an original character based on Bonbon, the design choices for Bon Jonesy weren't made with that idea in mind. It's all because I like the look of it. A design based on a jackalope instead of a bunny because I thought it would look unique, red eyes because I misremembered Bonbon eyes that way, added white because I was using Helpy's color scheme and design as a reference, floppy ears because having standing ears and horns together made everything too busy above the head, and cybernetic implants that grew pixelated horns because I want to add some Digimon elements to my character. Why? Because it's cool. After that, I stuck with version 1 as my avatar for both my Reddit account and my channel for a little while, until I was getting ready to start making the first episode of the Prove It series, as that was when I was cooking up ideas of how to present my theories to my new YouTube audience. Eventually, the idea I settled on was having my character on screen and using it to represent me as I talk, since I didn't want to show my face on the internet. I've seen other YouTubers do it before, like Yeah and the numerous VTubers. Plus, I was inspired by Mr. Hippo's long-winded death lines and the simplicity of it. Of course, I didn't want a frozen avatar on screen while I was telling you my theory and showing you the evidence. I wanted it to move. For that, I needed to change my avatar once again, as I never created it with the intention of moving. Plus, I wasn't entirely satisfied with the design. It was missing a reference to mixes, what I love the design of. So, once again, 4 months later, Bon Jonesy version 2 was created. A slightly altered design featuring more blue, feet, or paws, reference to mixes with glowing lines inside the ears, and the ability to move somewhat. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with this design Bon Jonesy, and any redesign will only have slight modifications. As for how I feel about it being the face of the channel, at first I didn't care about it. It was just something that started off as being there simply because I never wanted to show my face in videos, and I had an avatar to use in place of it. But after working on designing it for so long, I guess I grew attached to the little guy. And if by the very unlikely chance I start showing my face in some of my videos, this avatar will still be the main face of the channel, and the majority of the videos. I hope that answered your questions, Ibixis and StarBunny552. Alright, now on to the last commenter, Allison Berry Hill 4773, and their questions. What channels inspired mine? Truthfully, there wasn't any particular channel I took inspiration from in creating my channel. I'm kinda just doing this by the seat of my pants. What do I look for in theory making? Ooh, that's a bit of a tricky question that takes a bit of explanation. You see, unlike other theorists, my theories are actually chopped up parts of one huge singular theory, with each part focusing on a single subject and how they fit into my overall theory of the game. Think of my theories as pieces of a puzzle in which I show you each individual piece before I assemble the complete puzzle and show you the image. It's the reason why I tell you exactly how many episodes I have in my Ruin series and why I call them episodes. Because once those episodes are done, I won't be making any more theories about Ruin. The reason why is specifically because of the way I come up with these theories in the first place, my deep dives. You may have heard me mention deep dives or analysis in some of my videos, especially in my intros to my theory videos. For those who aren't familiar, I have a series called The Jonesy Burrows, which was previously titled The Important Things People Are Missing on Reddit. In this series, I analyze every moment in games, from start to finish. To explain it simply, it's like walking a trail in a forest and documenting nearly every detail and other things of interest along the way. Is there anything I'm specifically looking for while doing all this? An overlooked clue that I feel is important? Yeah, actually. This channel and my Reddit posts owe their existence to a disagreement I had with the popular theories of the FNAF community after Ruin's release that pushed me to step out of my introverted shell. At the time, and even now really, the majority, in particular the big YouTube theorists, agreed that Princess Quest is canon to Ruin, despite strong evidence against it. Additionally, the theory that Gregory was the mimic in the elevator ending sparked my desire to prove a different perspective to the community, and made me make my first post on the FNAF subreddit about it. In my second post ever on the same subreddit, I set out to examine Ruin from beginning to end, aiming to uncover more evidence against Princess Quest being canon. To my surprise, I stumbled upon strong evidence suggesting Vanny was still present after security breach. While I didn't get far into ruining that post, the excitement of discovering something important that had been overlooked in the DLC and the positive response from the post encouraged me to continue, and the rest is history. So to answer the question, I typically seek 1 or 2 specific clues while navigating through the games I analyze, all while keeping an eye out for anything else noteworthy. Often, I come across small details that connect to something else I found, leading me to discoveries that I theorize about. Now, what's my favorite FNAF game is an excellent question to cap off this video. When it comes to favorites among the many games, well, it's a bit different for me, as I never played a FNAF game before and had watched playthroughs of all of them. Among the games I've watched, 3 truly captured my attention and immersed me in their stories and lore long after the games ended: FNAF 2, Sister Location, and Help Wanted. I would count FNAF 1, but it's noticeably lacking a little less in the story compartment in comparison, but it is one of my favorites. Each of these games features a narrative that draws you in, leaving you eager to see what happens next in the franchise. Additionally, watching people overcome the challenges these games present is entertaining. However, one game stands out above the rest, sharing something in common with the first FNAF game: Help Wanted and the fear of the unknown. FNAF 2, while innovative for a sequel, still operates within a familiar framework of the first game. You're anchored in one place as animatronics approach you. Though the open interior heightens the tension and fear, it remains somewhat predictable for those familiar with the first game, becoming even more so with the sequels that follow. On the other hand, Sister Location shifts the experience entirely by placing you in an unfamiliar environment with distinct gameplay mechanics. Unlike any other game in the franchise, it keeps the excitement alive when watching someone play for the first time, as they navigate the story twists and turns, all while facing new gameplay mechanics each night. Yet Help Wanted takes it a step further and does it better. It cleverly blends familiarity with the original games while introducing slight twists that make the experience feel strange and new again, rekindling the original game's scariness despite your previous knowledge of them. The atmosphere in Help Wanted is only contested by the first game. Set in a haunting hub world that looks like the FNAF 1 restaurant, it creates a dark, isolated environment filled with chairs and decorations that hint at a lively past, all underscored by an eerie looping tune. As you progress through past games' highlights and more, you uncover a mysterious conspiracy involving a company that shouldn't have existed after FNAF 6. Meanwhile, a strange new entity begins to manifest in the corner of the room, echoing the likeness of a previous antagonist, inching closer as it repeats in a distorted voice. "Hello, can you hear me?" Even with the release of a sequel, which attempts to recapture its unique gameplay loop, it unfortunately falls short in comparison to the original, especially in terms of storytelling. To me, Help Wanted is a standout game that is the best that FNAF has to offer. But that wraps up my thoughts for 2024. If nothing else significant happens, my next video will be the next episode of the Prove It series. So stay tuned for more next year.